Want help to grow your business? Download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.
Hi, my name's Rhiannon Rees. I'm an elite performance coach, best-selling author and keynote speaker. Today, we are going to be navigating our way through business problems. I want to help you to build an amazing business that creates incredible cash flow, that makes a difference, and that can actually provide the products and services that you want to provide to the marketplace. So I'm going to be going through some great tips and pointers, especially for people who are new in business and don't know how to navigate through these hurdles. What sort of issues do you have? There's lots of issues you could have, but they kind of tend to boil down to a couple of different issues. Now, the biggest issue of all that people come to me about is, of course, the big cash king. Where is the money? Why aren't you creating the money that you need? What's happening with your money? So money seems to be one of the biggest stresses for people in business. How do we create more money? I'm going to go into that later on. I would just want to go through the issues first of all. The second issue, you don't have enough time. You've started this business that's supposed to give you a life and make a difference for you, and all of a sudden you're working in it 20 hours a day, every day, sometimes 7 days a week. Now that's not very much fun, is it? So how do we get that time back? What about team? Quite often people will say to me, oh, I've employed this person and they're just not working to standard. It's not happening. And remember this, you actually will get the team that you deserve. So if you want a better team, you need to improve yourself. So we'll look at a few of these issues and cover off as many that we can to give you some new tips moving on in your business. So all of those issues, the money issue, the time issue, and the team issue, actually stem from you. What is your management philosophy? How are you running the business? What is your approach to the business? So when in coaching, we talk about whether or not you're above or below the line. So I want to spend some time on this one. This one's really important. When you're above the line, you're actually looking at owning the business and owning the problem, and you're starting to use the word I. So say, for example, that your business isn't doing well, rather than go, oh my God, it's my team's fault, or I don't have enough money or cash. You have to ask yourself, what is it about my business that's not doing well? And how have I contributed to that? And what do I need to change about myself and my management style to make it different? When I start my clients' coaching, they're the first two questions I explain to people. I'm going to write them down, they're so important. Number one is, how have I created this? Whatever it is. How have I created this issue? Because you have. Please write this down. Issue. Whatever it is, business or personal. Okay? These are your basic questions in business. Because somehow it comes back to you. And number two, what do I need to change about myself to make it different? Because this is where the change will happen. Right. I'm glad I wrote those up. They are so important. Imagine this. Your team's not working. They're just not showing up on time. They're writing down hours that they're not actually doing. Whose fault is that? Is it the team's fault because they're slack, or is it your fault because you didn't explain to the team you need to work 7 hours a day? You're going to work from 10 to 4 or 10 to 5. You're going to do this. Here's a job description. This is how we perform. Have you shown them? Have you taught them? So remember, these issues come back to you. Okay, the other thing I'm going to talk about is a really important issue is how are you planning for your business? Are you planning? Because if you're not planning, then look at not succeeding as well. So I want to talk to you about a very important study that was done through the graduates of Harvard. So over a 15-year period, these graduates went on their merry way after they studied at Harvard, and they studied this group of graduates for 15 years. Now, some of them said, I'm going to create an amazing life, an amazing business, and I'm going to do all this, and I'm going to marry this person and build a $10 million business. Some of them just thought it. I'm going to marry that person, I'm going to do this, my business is going to be great. But a very small proportion, about 3%, actually wrote it down and time-framed it. So 3% of those graduates time-framed it, wrote it down specifically. I'm going to buy that business on December 6th at 10 a.m., December 6, 2016. So they knew where they were headed. 30% or 27%, sorry, they talked about it with their friends, and 70% just had the idea. Now here's the kicker, is at the end of 15 years, how much of the entire group's wealth did those 3% who planned it own? How much of the entire group's wealth did they own? I know you're guessing at home. But let me tell you that if you planned your business really specifically, and you were that 3% that actually planned it, I'm going to buy that business at that date, I'm going to implement this strategy, that, you would own 97%, wrong texter, of the entire group's wealth. 97%. So do you want to plan? You can do many sorts of plans. How far are you planned out? Are you planned out 20 years? Are you planned out 10 years? Are you planned out 5 years? Do you have a weekly plan of what needs to be achieved in all areas of business, in HR, in sales, in marketing, in education, in innovation? Do you have a business plan that covers all of that? The small plan, like the immediate plan, the 3 to 6 month plan, if you make those steps really small, like when I do my planning for my clients, the steps are really small. I put them on little sticky notes, and each sticky note is a half hour to an hour task. Now, when I do that, we call that working on the business, not working in the business. So when you're working on the business, you're looking at the strategy and the mechanics of the business to see how does that work for you. What one thing could I do in my business to improve the business, rather than actually, if you're a baker baking pies, that's working in the business. You would actually be working on the business going, how could I improve the way the business works? So my clients generally work about 5 to 10 hours a week on the actual strategy of improving the performance in the business. Now, when you do this, is it detailed? Does it say that I'm looking at just the script of the receptionist to see if I can produce a better script to keep customers happy, or to get more detail or more information? Has it been delegated, and who's in charge of it? So if there's an action in your business that's delegated, so say, your manager has to look after sales, when does he look after sales? When does he report back to you? And at what time is it complete? Because you can have something that's in process, or you can have something that's complete. So you want to know who's doing it and when. Now, decimated in terms of budget, how much money are you allocating to that particular part of your business, like marketing or advertising? What are you allocating it to? So you really need to spend some time on your plans. And I like to spend every quarter to redo my plan, and every year I rebuild my next plan for long term. So I've got a plan on my wall right now that's to 2021. And it's done as a mind map, because I quite like mind maps. And so they're the little bubbles around what you're looking at first. So a mind map would look like this, because remember the parts of your brain you want to harness are the limbic brain, the subconscious brain, because it's so much more powerful. So say your goal is to build a $5 million business, and that would make you happy. That's the goal. Then your mind map's going to come out with little bubbles of how to do it. So this might be sales. This might be new products, new ventures. This might be extra finance. And this might be something altogether different, like this might be real estate. So this is a mind map, and the reason we do it like this is because it's actually the way the brain thinks, in little tiny bite-sized chunks. So I have one of these on my wall, and I just like it because I see it every day. So my subconscious brain is totally enrolled in that all the time because it sees it, because subconscious brain doesn't know if it's real or not. So if you feed it, it will just take it on as real. All right, moving right along. What sort of obstacles do you have? 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. That is a massive statistic. Like, you think of how many new businesses there are all over the globe, and 80% of them fail in the first 5 years. Why is that? That's because they don't have enough cash flow. They're not producing the profits they need, which obviously means that they don't have a business. So cash flow is king. How do you create that cash flow, and what do you need to look for in your business to monitor the progress of your cash flow? Because some businesses are up and down. Some businesses have cash today. Some businesses have cash in 3 months. So you need to figure out a system that works for you. So the person running the business, the leader, is obviously going to be the most influential person in terms of the outcomes of that business. So what sort of things, what attributes would a good business leader have? The most important qualities of a great leader, the number one quality of a great leader, is the ability to actively listen. They can listen for opportunities that other people miss. So where somebody would say, oh my God, there's a depression here, nothing's happening, somebody who listens well will go, oh, there's an opportunity in that to create a new business. Some of the biggest businesses on the planet grew out of the depression. Why is that? Because there were no opportunities at that time, so the people that found them created very big businesses. Okay, the other thing is too, I love this actually, because when I'm coaching, one of the things my clients say to me over and over is, oh, I'm just trying to make it perfect. I want to make sure that I raise the bar here and produce that sort of result. And none of them like making any sort of mistakes. Now, the great thing about mistakes is often, touch wood, you'll only make that mistake once. Because once you've made it once, you can correct it and then produce a better outcome. But what they do is they worry so much about the decision that they're making. Oh my God, I'm moving to this new product. I'm not sure about the sales process. I'm not sure if I'm selling it to the right person. That they're taking so much time to make these decisions that maybe they're only making 10 decisions in a day. Now, as the CEO of a company, if you're only making 10 decisions in a day, how fast will your company build? So 10 decisions in a day, let's just say, we made 10 decisions. Okay, and 9 of them were right. These were right. This is going to be slow for someone who's a perfectionist and needs to have everything in control. Now, a good entrepreneur, they might make 400 decisions in a day, and 100 might be wrong. Sorry, I'll do it the other way. They make 400 in a day, and 300 are right. 300 are right. So, look at the speed that they're going to travel at. Like, seriously, look at that. So this person who's making all these decisions and making way more mistakes is also building their business at a much more rapid rate than the person who's idling along here going, got to get it right, got to get it right, got to get it right. Do you know when the rocket that leaves NASA, the platform there, heads to the moon, do you know how much the percentage of time that the rocket is actually on track to the moon? 3%. So the other 97% of the time, it's constantly correcting to make sure it lands on the moon. And where does it land? On the moon. Constant correction, guys. Constant correction.
To continue enjoying this presentation, download BRiN, the world's first business advisor in your pocket. To find out more, visit BRiN.ai or search the App Store today.